Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you all how to crochet the Alpine stitch. This is the Alpine stitch here. As you can see, it is absolutely stunning. The texture of this stitch is absolutely amazing. I cannot get enough of it. This is a cardigan I'm working on at the moment. This is my 10K cardi pattern design, which is still in the works. As you can see, it's pretty far from being finished, but I thought in the lead up to the release of this cardigan I would do a quick stitch tutorial and teach you all how to do the Alpine stitch so you can make yourselves familiar before the pattern release. So without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. Okay, so to get started, all you're going to need is some yarn and a hook, of course. I'm just using an 8-ply acrylic yarn with a 5mm crochet hook. You can use whatever yarn and hook you like. So once you've found the end of your yarn, all you want to do is start, of course, with a slip knot and pop that onto your hook. And then what we want to do for this stitch pattern, you will require an even amount of stitches. So obviously the amount of stitches you chain up at the beginning will just depend on how big your project is or what you are making. But just keep in mind that when you are doing the Alpine stitch, you want to start with an even amount of stitches. So for demonstration purposes today, I am just going to chain up a total of 10 chain stitches. Once you've chained up your desired stitch count, you then want to add on an extra 2 chains, and this is just because we're going to be skipping a couple of chains at the beginning. So you just want to add on an extra 2 chains to your intended stitch count. So for me, I want to have a stitch count of 10, so I've chained 12. For you, say you wanted to have a stitch count of 20, you would chain 22. Next, we want to skip the first 3 chains. So we're going to be double crocheting into that 4th chain from our hook. So we're skipping 1, 2, 3 chains and double crocheting into that 4th chain from our hook. So yarning over and inserting our hook into that 4th chain and completing a double crochet. Now the chains that we just skipped will count as our first double crochet, so we do count that as a stitch. So technically we've got 2 stitches there, 2 double crochets. From there, all you want to do is double crochet in every chain until the end of the row. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So just completing 1 double crochet in every chain all the way until we reach the end. So here I am just completing my last double crochet of the row. Now remember I said I wanted a total stitch count of 10, so I'm just going to go back and double check that I do have the correct stitch count before we continue. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 double crochets, which is correct. Now what we're going to do is chain 1 and turn our work. We're then going to be crocheting back along this way, but this time we're completing a row of single crochets. So we're doing 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way till the end of the row. So I will go ahead and complete that now, but as I said, we're just single crocheting all the way to the end of the row. Okay, so I'm almost at the end of the row. I just wanted to make a point that because this section here is technically that chain 3 that we skipped at the very beginning, you want to make sure that you are crocheting into that top chain there. So don't skip that, otherwise you'll be down a stitch and your stitch count will be off. So I just wanted to make a point that you are going to be single crocheting into that top chain of the last stitch. Okay, so once you've finished single crocheting all the way along, we then want to chain 3, 2, 3, and again we are turning our work. So that's the easy part out of the way. We are now all set up and we've got our setup rows completed. Now what we want to do for this next section is to skip that very first single crochet, because just like before, this chain 3 will count as our first double crochet. So we are skipping that very first single crochet there, and then we are moving down here to this double crochet. And the reason for this is because this stitch pattern to create the Alpine stitch actually consists of alternating front post extended double crochet and double crochet for this particular row. So what we're going to do is yarn over. We are then going in around that double crochet, yarning over again, pulling through, and you want to pull that loop up so it's nice and straight and even with these. You don't want this loop to be too tight. We're then going to yarn over again and complete it the same as you would any double crochet, just like that. Then what we want to do is move on to the next single crochet. So we're skipping that single crochet above the double crochet that we just went in and completed our front post extended double crochet around, and we want to move on to that next single crochet above that next double crochet, if that makes sense. So what we're doing now is simply double crocheting in through that single crochet. Nice and easy, just like that. Okay. Now what we're going to do is complete another front post extended double crochet, just like this one here. So we are yarning over, finding that next double crochet. So we want to skip that one that's underneath of the double crochet we just completed, and we're going to move on to the next one. So yarning over, going in behind that double crochet, yarning over again, pulling up our loop nice and high so it's nice and even with the rest of our loops, and then completing the double crochet, just like that. Now, again, you've probably guessed it, we're going to go in and complete a double crochet into that next single crochet above the double crochet next to the one we just went in and around. So yarning over, finding that next single crochet. Remember, we're skipping the single crochet above the double crochet we just went in and crocheted around, and we're going on to the next one. So finding that next single crochet there, yarning over, inserting our hook, and simply completing a double crochet. Now all we're going to do is continue that stitch pattern all the way until we get to the end of the row. So again, we are going to be going in around that next double crochet and completing a front post extended double crochet. Now I should have mentioned before, the extended part literally just means that we're extending that loop up. So if you were to just complete a normal front post double crochet, you would find that your work would start to curl because it's too tight. So that's why we have to lift and pull up that loop there so it's nice and even with the rest of our loops on our hook, and then complete the double crochet, just so it's not so tight. Next, again, we're finding that next single crochet above the double crochet next to the one we just went around, and we're completing a double crochet, just like that. Again, we are going in around that next double crochet and completing a front post extended double crochet, pulling that loop up, and completing the double crochet. Again, we are going to find that next single crochet and simply complete a double crochet into there. And then for our last stitch, we are going to go in around that very last stitch and complete a front post extended double crochet. Pulling that loop up nice and high and completing the double crochet. So this is what your work should look like at the moment. Something like that. And then what we're going to do is chain 1, turn our work, and then all we're going to do is complete 1 row of single crochet. So 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way across. Nice and easy. Again, don't forget to go into the top of that chain 3 there for our last stitch. Again, if you do skip this, your stitch count will be off and your edges will be all wonky. So make sure you don't skip that chain 3 at the end, because that does count as a stitch. So this is what the wrong side will look like. So this stitch does have a wrong and a right side. This is the wrong side, and then you've got the right side on the other side, obviously. So once you finish that row of single crochet, we're then going to go ahead and chain 3 and turn our work once again. Then what we're going to do is the opposite to what we did on the previous double crochet row. So as you can tell, this stitch here is where we completed the front post extended double crochet. Instead of completing another front post extended double crochet around this stitch, we want to do a double crochet into that single crochet above that stitch, if that makes sense. So again, we're doing the opposite to what we did in the previous double crochet row. So again, this chain 3 here will count as a stitch. So in this case, this is going to count as our front post extended double crochet stitch, and then we're going to complete a double crochet into that next single crochet. Just like that. So what we want to do next is find that next double crochet, and we're going to complete a front post extended double crochet around that stitch. So going in behind that double crochet and completing the front post extended double crochet, remembering to pull that loop up nice and high before you finish it off. Just like that. So then, as I'm sure you probably guessed, we are going to complete a double crochet in the single crochet above that next front post extended double crochet. So yarning over, inserting our hook into that next single crochet and completing a double crochet. And we're just going to continue with this stitch pattern all the way across to the end of the row. I will do it with you guys just in case you're not already following along and you need a little bit of extra time and you want to watch me do it. That is totally fine. So I'm going to do it with you guys. So again, we are finding that next double crochet there. We're yarning over. We're going in behind that stitch and completing a front post extended double crochet. Then again, the next stitch, find that next stitch and complete a double crochet in that single crochet. Again, finding that next double crochet, going in behind and completing that extended double crochet. finding that next stitch, going in through that single crochet and completing a double crochet. Then we're finding that next stitch there, going in behind and completing a front post extended double crochet. Now we're up to the last stitch of the row. So again, you're going to be going into the top of that chain 3 stitch. So yarning over and completing a double crochet in through the top of that chain 3 at the end. And there we have it, guys. That is how you crochet the Alpine stitch. Now, of course, after this row, you would chain 1, turn your work, complete a row of single crochet, chain 3, turn your work again, and then you would complete the double crochet row, which obviously again would be opposite to the one we just completed. So basically all you have to remember is with the double crochet row, you want to be front post extended double crocheting around the double crochet from the previous row and double crocheting into the single crochet above the front post extended double crochet from the previous double crochet row. Sorry, this is a bit of a tongue twister, guys. I hope you guys are following along, but this stitch is really, really easy once you get the hang of it. And if you just keep repeating what I've just shown you, this is what it's going to look like once you've got a few rows worked up. So as you can see, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this stitch is absolutely stunning. I cannot wait to finish this cardigan. I hope you guys love it, and I hope you did enjoy this video, even though it was a little bit of a tongue twister. Hopefully you guys were following along okay. If you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on your notifications so you will be notified of all my future videos. But in the meantime, guys, feel free to leave me a comment down below. I am always open to your suggestions. I would love to hear what other stitch tutorials you would like to see. But that's it from me today. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.